Hi everyone, it's Marisa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'd like to show you how to make the best homemade trail mix. So this homemade trail mix is better than anything that you can buy in the store because of what we've done to the nuts to make them more easily digestible and the nutrients more available. So I have fermented these nuts ahead of time. I have a video that shows you the exact process of how I do that. Basically, I get raw organic nuts in bulk from Azure Standard. I'll have them linked below. I put them in a bowl with water and some whey from kefir, let them sit overnight, drain them out in the morning, and then I put them on my Silpat sheet, on a baking sheet in the oven at the lowest temperature that I can. I sprinkle some salt on and I let them dry out in the oven for 12 hours at least, sometimes longer, just until they feel nice and dry to the touch. And then we're ready to just put them together and make trail mix. So like I said, fermenting helps to make them more easily digestible, unlocks the nutrients, it deactivates those phytic acids that make the nuts harder for our bodies to break down, so we have a much easier time digesting them. It's really important for anybody who's on the GAPS diet, but really anybody who wants to just have better digestion is better off having them this way too. It's really easy, it doesn't take that much work. So once I have the nuts all fermented and dried and some salt added, then I'm going to go ahead and add them to a mixing bowl and add a few other ingredients. I have almonds and cashews here, but you can really choose any nuts that you like. Whatever nuts that are available to you and that you enjoy, you can ferment them, dehydrate them, add some high quality mineral salt, and then they're even great just as mixed nuts that way, but I like to make a trail mix by adding some other things. One of my favorite things to add is these large unsweetened coconut chips. I also get these from Azure in bulk like this. They're organic. They just add a really nice texture and flavor and a lot of healthy fat. Plus coconut has great benefits for energy and being antiviral. So I just add a good amount, whatever I think looks good. I really don't follow measurements, and that's the nice thing about this, is that you can customize it to exactly how you want this to turn out, what you enjoy in what amounts. And that's another thing that makes it much better than buying pre-made trail mixes, not to mention you save a lot of money too doing it yourself, but you can make it exactly the way you want it. Now from here you can really add more things too. Sometimes you can add dried fruit. I'm not the hugest fan of raisins, and Azure didn't have a lot of other dried fruits that were not sweetened or were, you know, organic. They had some non-organic options, but nothing that I was really crazy about. So I haven't been adding dried fruit lately, but if you have a good source for it, or maybe you dry it yourself, that would be really tasty to add. Another option is something like some natural chocolate chunks, or I know that the Weston A. Price Foundation is officially not really crazy about chocolate. They don't really encourage people to eat it, and I take that into consideration and just try to go with moderation. I do eat it sometimes, but I just keep that in mind to not overdo it. One thing that they do have as a chocolate alternative that they recommend is carob. So Azure has these carob baking chips. They're little carob chips with mint. This would not be a GAPS thing. That's the only thing, is if you're on GAPS, you're better off sticking with the nuts and the coconut and then adding some unsweetened dried fruit. That would be a better thing to do. But if you're not on GAPS, you do have a little bit more options. So you could add something like the carob chips, or if you're okay with having a little chocolate once in a while, then Azure has some really nice organic chocolate chunks. They have these mini chocolate chips, or they have bigger pieces. They also have these all natural chocolate rainbow drops, so they're milk chocolate all natural ingredients, and the coloring is natural as well. So that might be something that we'd consider once in a long while for a fun treat. So you have some different options there. But that's really all there is to it. Properly preparing those nuts, adding a few other things that you want in the amounts that you want, and there you have it. I like to store this in a glass jar. I just like to use glass over plastic whenever I can, just because it's a more non-toxic, safer storage container. And then I like to store this trail mix in the freezer. That just helps keep those nuts fresher, because once they're cracked open, nuts start to go rancid fairly quickly. And so just to keep those nutrients more intact, it's nice to keep them in the freezer. So this comes up a lot. I did a video about how we try to kind of avoid snacks in general, just because they can make your body hold out for those and not be eating as much of the nutrient-dense food. And so whenever I talk about a snack food that we do sometimes eat, I always like to bring this up because people have questions about, well, where does this fit in? I thought you said you don't really eat snacks. Well, in general, we try to eat mostly meals whenever we're hungry, as many meals a day as we need, even if that's more than 3. It really helps with kids being able to get the important nutrients that they need and getting their bodies to not always be just holding out for whatever snacky kind of food. And also, if you're somebody who's on GAPS, it's important to know that things like nuts and fruits and things like that we normally turn to as snack kind of foods feed yeast. So if you're trying to bring that under control and not overly feed that, you do want to kind of be aware that whenever you're having a food like this, you are feeding the yeast a little bit more. It's just stuff to keep in mind. But we will, like especially during pregnancy and nursing, we will sometimes just need something that's really easy to just grab. Or if we're on the go, traveling, a road trip, a day trip, something like that, we will go to these. But day to day when we're at home, we try to go to meals for the bulk of the time. So that's how that fits in. Just want to answer that in case there was any confusion, to clear that up. So there you go. There's how I like to make trail mix at home that's better than any that you can buy in the store. I hope that you enjoyed seeing that. I hope that you give it a try. Check out that description box to links to my favorite ingredients for making homemade trail mix. I'd love to know, what are your favorite things to add to trail mix? So leave me a comment and let me know what you like to have in your trail mix. Also check out that description box for links to free ebooks and other goodies. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think would like it, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out 2 new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.